On today's show, we'll meet the creators of the web series Matchstick McCoy. Now, when I came across their trailer online, I really fell in love with it because they did the trailer and the series in the style of those 1970s movies. Let's take a look at some clips from Matchstick McCoy, and then we'll meet the creators.
Seventh and Figueroa, it's a kung fu van full of contraband headed for the inner city wharf. Be there.
Richard. QG Richard. Nice suit. Nice mustache. Now, whatever would lead you to believe that Monty would hold himself up at his one exposed safe house?
Hunch.
Where is Monty hiding?
Hi guys, thanks for joining us today. We're here with the creators of Matchstick McCoy. We just watched some great clips from the show. I'd like to thank you guys for coming and joining us today. And we're here with Benjamin Watts and Ben Seton.
That's right.
All right, great. I got them both right. Yeah, I love the show, guys, and I was so glad when Benjamin sent me the link because I've been looking for a lot of web series content, and I wanted to interview people who are doing stuff, who are really making full use of, I think, the web's potential. So tell me a little bit how you got the idea to create the show.
The idea was actually a character that I created years ago in a theater company, and from there it just kind of evolved to when I finally made my way out to LA,
Okay.
meeting a few people that kind of saw the original character that I had, and then I made a sketch out of it with a sketch comedy group that I had, and then I had a couple of people that were just really motivated by that and said, why don't you turn this into a web series?
Oh, okay.
And it just kind of grew from there.
And how did you two meet?
We worked on a short film together when he just got from Vegas.
Oh, okay.
And an English guy, Jason Korsnev, actually a reporter for the BBC. He comes out here once a year and he does a little short. And anyway, we met on the set. I was a last minute ring in.
Oh, okay.
And we had to do a little fight scene. We had to do an interchange, a bit of acting.
From there, what happened? You decided to work together, or you hit it off, or what happened?
We hit it off, but we didn't even talk to each other for like maybe once in like a span of 6 months because we were both just really busy.
Right.
And then I think I invited you to something. I can't remember what it was.
Something, and then
There was some gig or something I wanted you to be on board with.
Yeah, and then we got together and it was like, I don't know. Oh my God, why don't we hang out more?
That's
we should
right.
totally hang out.
Right.
We just click.
And so when you decided to do the show, did you already have the script, or was this?
No, I didn't have the script. What I decided to do, since I'll just get off my chest immediately that I'm not a huge fan of web series in general.
Okay.
Straight down the camera on that.
I am not a fan of web series.
And why is that?
Please
I'll
explain.
Jump ahead. I'll cut you off and jump in. Why is that you're not such a fan?
It's for a number of reasons. One of them is a lot of the stuff that gets put out there is just like, everybody that, technology and the way it's progressed in one sense has been amazing for independent filmmaking. Like, 10 years ago, there's no way we would have been able to shoot anything that we've been capable of shooting recently.
Yes.
However, at the same time, a lot of people get access to that and they think that they can shoot something, yet they don't have a professional DP, they don't have a script, they don't have actors or anything like that. You still have to come at it from a professional standpoint.
Right. I definitely agree.
Whenever you watch web series in general, what it is you start to watch it in this format where you watch like 5 to 10 minutes of it, and then it says to be continued at the end. You have to wait till next week, and it's almost like going to an old school Nickelodeon theater.
Right.
You got to come back week and week again, and even in that 5 to 10 minutes that you watch, you didn't even get a story arc. You didn't get a complete anything. And I realize that it's because a lot of people that are doing web series now, like you'll see ones like The Bannon Way and stuff like that purports itself as a web series, yet it's actually a feature film that they just chopped up,
broken up.
And I didn't really like that. I'm like, you can totally take the hero's journey and that story arc, and you can consolidate it,
Definitely.
and you can have an adventure in like 5 to 8 minutes. Why not?
Yes.
And so that's what I did, and that's how I created the formula for it. Is I took the biggest points of that classic story arc, and especially since part of it is mocking that kind of formulaic storytelling of the 70s, and I just took that, put it into a 6 to 7 page script, and then each episode was based off of that
I love
structure.
that. Tell me a little bit about your background in production. Do you have a background in actual production or more in acting?
I'm mainly an actor, and I came on board to help Ben get this going. And so, I came from an actor's background, but I have produced other stuff, and I've worked behind the scenes to try and make things happen. And I guess this one was the most that I have been hands-on in the back.
So what kind of things did you do in the web series as far as the production side goes?
I was anything that was loose ends that needed to be done was running around trying to make it happen.
Like finding a last-minute Bond girl.
And and being a first-time producer probably failed miserably, but there were things like finding a Bond girl at the last minute, which I failed to get at this Christmas party that I promised Ben I would find this Bond girl at this Christmas party, and every single one of them said, "Oh yeah, I'm shooting on CSI tomorrow," or something. Whatever. And I was
Obviously,
like, really?
miles above match.
Does this really have to happen?
Easy boy.
Hairy moments that needed to be resolved. Like we thought we had our sound guy all locked down for the day of.
Oh, okay.
And he turned up and he said, "Oh, I'm not doing sound. I'm doing something else, aren't I?" I said, "Wait, you said to me over the phone that you
sound
didn't
guy.
we clear this?"
No
So I
sound
had
equipment.
to no sound
Oh,
equipment,
no sound
nothing.
equipment. Oh, wow.
And
wow.
I had to call up a few favors, rush right across town,
Right.
grab it, and come right back. And
Especially the role of an independent producer.
Right. Oh.
Man,
Oh.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Ben was like, he was my rock during that whole
great,
thing. He was
great.
amazing. Like there's even some shots, could be in one of the clips that I gave you, where it shows like his character of Hugh G. Richard, pulls out a gun to shoot and blah blah blah. The guy that he shoots is actually himself.
Oh. Okay.
It's actually him wearing a mask.
Okay. Great.
And he was actually a lot of henchmen that got killed.
Great. Great.
died many times in that.
It was actually not a traditional casting process. Part of it was a few characters I actually specifically wrote for friends of mine, and a number of them are actually just steady working actors that did not have to do this and just did it because they loved the script and they wanted to be involved in it. And it was really just as easy as calling them up and sending them the script and saying, "I really want you to be a part of this. I'm really, really sorry I can't pay you, but if it goes anywhere, I promise you will get a part of it."
Okay. Great.
And from there, it was just, as a director, telling everybody, bring what you remember from that genre or from that era. Like, what did you love about it? I want you to bring that to your character. And every single one of the actors involved brought something. And it was fantastic. They just created their own characters. They really brought them to life.
That was some treacherous ass kung fu. Some five-fingered lotus and shit.
You trained with Dr. Chow, didn't you?
You did your homework.
Done did it.
I know what makes Ray Moore tick. You gonna need me, Matchstick. To save the day, we gotta come together. Blackness and whiteness. What do you say?
Respect for mutual kung fu.
Solid.
Rehearsals weren't big. It was more just having phone calls or little sit-downs to talk about the character. And like in particular, our mutual friend Cassius Willis, who played Willie Moses in the Big and Black episode, he was brilliant. He ended up
Fantastic.
finding, he had hair and makeup friends that provided his hair and his mustache and everything, and he got so into it because he loves that genre as well. And he was always calling me up, and we were chatting about, the kind of character that I was looking for. I wanted a mixture of Superfly and John Shaft.
Okay.
And that is exactly what he brought to me.
Great.
Some locations of ours fell through. So some of it we had to guerrilla shoot, and we would just have, some of our crew scouting to make sure that we were okay. But
And they would just magically appear.
they were just there.
But
But
we found some good spots.
I think
last minute.
I think the best location though is the chief's office, which Ben could tell you how we came up with that.
It was basically Ben's apartment at the time.
It was my apartment.
It's bare barren walls, and and was it a tile floor or whatever, and there you got this kind of wooden 70s kind of office feel to it, and we basically put it together for what, not too much money, like
Put it together for like
$30, I
$30
think.
We cleared out the apartment, got some of that wooden colored contact paper from Home Depot, and even the door at the end, the door that you see is completely fake. We literally treated my apartment like a set and built that entire thing.
I had some spare frame at the back of where I was living, and put it together for the trim of the door, and
and we only dressed like literally a corner of the apartment. So in all the reverse shots, it was just reversing around the chief's desk to cheat it as though it was a whole room.
Hey, McCoy! I'm indebted to you. We are truly brothers in arms and in life. Brothers. That's still a nasty habit you got there. Hey!
Hey there, Milky Way. The chief sent me to save the day. Guess you must have been slacking. You seem to be, lacking.
That's the smallest badge I've ever seen. Must be Willie Moses.
In the motherfucking flesh.
I produced a number of short films that I also wrote and acted in. I'm just a real go-getter. But other than that, I've helped behind the scenes on almost every production I've been involved in, every independent production that would allow me to help. That like, oh, we need this or that or whatever. And I say, well, let me see what I can do. Let me see if I can connect you with somebody, or it's something very practical and easy that I can do myself.
The only production that I've done outside of doing Matchstick is for theatre that I used to do in Australia, and I produced my own show, a one-man show called Taekwondo Shakespeare, and it had a lot of success. So I would do martial arts and Shakespeare and combine it together because they're my two loves. And I used to travel all around Australia to lots of Shakespeare festivals and like cabaret venues and things like that.
There's so many first steps that could be involved, because, well, the thing is we do this because we love it, and it's a passion. It's something that you absolutely love to do, but at the same time you have to realize it's a job. Regardless of getting paid, not getting paid, you're creating a product to put out there for the audience to take in, and I approach acting no differently. It's a job, and you have to be very, very practical about it. And I would tell them, make sure you have a story. Just have a good story. If you have a good story, everything else can flow from there. All the production stuff and everything, that's all stuff you can learn as you go. A lot of Matchstick, like I had produced a couple of short films before, but there's always obstacles you're gonna come across that, you can't predict. And it's a learning experience every time you do it.
For my advice as to what I'd give, especially looking at the way Ben approached it, it's definitely, as you said, the story is most important, and having that story, the passion and the love for that story is so prominent in the way Ben approached it, that everything fell together from that. It was amazing to see, because on doing this, Ben was wearing so many hats. He was the lead guy, playing Matchstick, directing, knew the shot list back and forth, and we only shot over 3 days. So all four episodes, and yet he was so congenial to everyone on the set, and so nice to them, and they were it was amazing to see. I've never worked with anyone that could kind of bring everyone together better than Ben did, while also doing, playing the lead and all that sort of stuff. And I think that really does come through from simply having a belief in the story and knowing exactly what there's the passion behind what you're trying to say and what you're trying to do.
I force myself to be organized, because naturally as artists you tend to not be, but on the production side you absolutely have to be. And actually that was something I was gonna dovetail on your comment with, is like being the lead guy and stuff like that. Like when I wrote it, I actually, at first it was subconscious, but I was giving Matchstick less lines, because I'm like, I can play him up as that strong stoic type of character, and it'll be less work for me to do as an actor. But leading up to it, you know, obviously you have to give them more and everything, you know, you have to get people invested in the character. And what I did is actually 2 months leading up to the shoot, I realized that I'm going to be doing so much behind the scenes, I'm not going to have time to prepare. So 2 months leading up to it, I spent getting into character. I shaved down to that ridiculous mustache and those chops, and I'm an adamant non-smoker. And I went a little bit method, and I started smoking, and I started being, you know, speaking that way. And my day job at the time, I would go into my day job like that, and people were like, "What is wrong with you?"
What kind of response? That's funny. What kind of response did you get with the mustache, and how long did you have to keep it on?
I kept it for about 3 months. About 3 months. And if I wasn't smoking a cigarette, I was just letting it dangle out of my mouth just so I could get used to it and I could speak and it looked natural. And
Yeah.
marketing is rough. The toughest part of it, actually, to even touch on the previous question, before you even get started, if there's some better advice I could give, prepare an even better marketing strategy before you even do anything. Because the thing is new media is so new, it's so fresh, and there's a lot of stuff to wade through. And you know, some of it is good, some of it's decent, some of it is just horrible. But still, it's a lot to get through. You have to. I'm not like a big Twitter person or anything like that, but all of these kind of things, all these social media things, these outlets, you have to utilize them. They're free for you to use. All this. I mean, even if you can't afford your own website, there's plenty of web hosts out there that, you know, you can create a website for free. And if you're a visual person, you know, like all the Matchstick McCoy marketing stuff, the poster and everything, I did all that. I did all that in Photoshop. You know, you just you have to be prepared to do everything on your own and utilize every resource that you have, and don't be scared to ask anybody. You can ask any friends that you know. You can even get online to forums, you know, for other people that are creators and contact them. Everybody is more than willing to help out, you know, because they've been there and they've, you know, gone through it. And actually, I think the best response, though, was when we had our premiere.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Was probably the best response. Like a few people there that were, you know, because I wasn't even born in the 70s. I just love the genre. But just people that grew up or was around when all that stuff was really popular came up to me and said, "You really captured that." Like, I felt like this character, how did I not know about this character? Like, it was a show that they should have known back then, like it actually existed. And that was kind of what I was going for, with having some sound that was echoey and kind of bad, and, you know, just getting that look and that overall feeling. SAG New Media. SAG was actually really great. They before you create a new media project or anything, you have to have a person assigned to you, which ours was Maria Timpani. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She was very, very sweet, and basically they assign you a person. Once you become signatory, becoming signatory is a whole different thing. It's like a 2-week process to become a producer. And after that, she's assigned to you, or the person's assigned to you, and it's a lot of paperwork, but it's very straightforward. It's very simple, and it seems like they're getting it more streamlined now. Like now you can actually do it all online instead of having material sent to you and then you sending it out. It's very practical stuff. Just you know, everything from your budget to your cast. You know, obviously having to make sure that your SAG members are paid up and all that kind of good stuff. And just making sure that you're a legitimate production.
Yeah, and at the time, I don't know how things have changed now, but it was really great for us to be doing SAG New Media Agreement, because they were so lenient on who we could use and all of that sort of stuff, as long as we cleared it with them. You know, if we had a non-union actor that we really wanted to use, then, you know, it was fine for us to bring them on board and all that sort of stuff, which made, you know, it reflects what new media is about, really, and I think it was really great the way they worked with us.
I have a number of ideas. I don't know about web series per se. I've been thinking about putting together another sketch comedy group with just, you know, a few select, really practical, funny people. But I'm also considering this web series that Ben and I were going to do a while back. That's basically reimagining and modernization of old grim fairy tales, which may be what we do down the road.
besides supporting this guy on everything that he's got going for web series content and doing this sketch comedy group, I don't have anything particular, but I've got a lot of friends who've got other things going that I'm definitely going to be jumping on board with. Yeah.
Name machine. Those things will kill you.
Out of the way, Bruce.
The name is Shing.
That was our friend David Chan, who actually Ben introduced me to. Stunt guy / martial artist, actor. Really great. Like, there's very few people that I would trust kicking that close to my face. But no, that whole thing, like that running gag through that episode was nothing could shake Matchstick, no matter what you do, and also a bit of an anti-smoking sentiment, because that was never touched on. Everybody just smoked, and that was the way it was.
Right.
And so yeah, that little gag was actually, I had like the spare cigarette in the ear and, cheated it off camera, and I had like the matchbook sat there, and I already had the match cheated in my hand.
I can't remember we had like a
just ready
little
to
thing
go.
on the cigarette, or did that work in the end?
No, that
Can't remember.
didn't work. So what I had to do was make sure that my lips were dry, and then just react to David throwing that kick, and then just slyly put that one in and light the match, and then take off.
En route from the war, on its way to the inner cities. By now it should be at 07 in Figueroa.
I'm on it.
We actually
Yeah, you must have, right?
Did
You must
not.
have had permission.
We got so lucky because we're out there brandishing fake weapons and everything. You're talking about the scene where he like shoots the phone and
Yes.
he like gun dials. Actually, when I wrote that, I was like, this is so funny. How the hell am I going to shoot this? It was fun. It was challenging. We actually shot that on Vermont and Santa Monica. There's a kung fu school there, and it was just perfect, because it goes with the whole theme of that episode. And actually, when you look up, that's not the kung fu school. That's somebody's apartment building that we could shoot at. And we just shot them doing that, blah, 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 did the dialogue. And then when we went to the Kung Fu school, we shot all that stuff, and we were looking up at nothing.
Oh, okay.
And then the whole gun dialing thing, that was an interesting thing to shoot. That was a whole nother thing.
Editing issue.
Hey, Master. I'm mean and I'm clean and I'm back on the scene. I came to show you a whole new thing. Oh. I told you I was good, Mama. I told you he wouldn't sell smack to the kids no more. I told you I was coming to settle up. I told you. You fool, you sucker, you dog crazy. Sit the fuck down when I'm frozen. I told you I'll get him. You fool, you sucker, you jive turkey, you mother.
Well, I think it's unanimous. Everyone loves
Big and Black.
Big and Black.
Because
And
blaxploitation
it
was
really-
so prominent back then. Everybody's favorite has been Bigger Black or The Oriental Express. Because those were the two things that were just so shoved down the throats during the 70s.
And also because Cassius Willis is
Cassius
just
is amazing. My God.
Yeah, he's great to work with.
He
I worked with him on this feature film called Thrill Seekers, a sci-fi thing, and he was great meeting him on that set. He was just always playing, always like doing stuff. And so when we actually had another actor for the role for quite some time leading up to the shoot, and then at the last second we called him up and said, "Hey, you want
Cassius, what do you think? You want to do this?" He actually, I remember that, sent Cassius the script, and he called me up in character. Like, not even to tell me that he wanted to do it or anything. He called me up in character. He's like, "Hey, this is Willie Mosen." And I was like, whoa. All right, come by. We'll have some beers. We'll talk about this. But no, it was great. And he brought so much to that character as well. Like, he brought what I wanted and his own idea of it. Like, when I originally wrote that script, I actually ended up giving the guy a writing credit because he brought so much to it. Like, I had some lines that rhymed and then some that didn't. And he said, "Do you mind if I make everything that he says rhyme?" And I was like, "Dude, Go for it.
That's it.
So what I'd like to highlight from today's interview is that the importance that Benjamin pointed out, that each episode of your web series should have a beginning, middle, and end. It's really important. A lot of times people get caught up in the overall story or what their overall concept of the web series will be or should be, and they just decide to chop off the ending and, to be continued. But what he pointed out, which is so true, is what I believe in, is that it has to have a beginning, middle, and end, because each episode should entertain your viewer, so they want to watch more. I'm James Tucker, and you've been watching The Web Series Show. Connect with Matchstick McCoy on their website, matchstickmccoy.com. You can also find them on Facebook and Twitter. You can watch the full uncut episode on our website, thewebseriesshow.com.